Here we are, episode number 62 of the Oklahoma Weather Show. It is August 12th, and actually, I'm going to hang outside just for a little bit. The weather for today has actually been pretty nice. It's not often that in the middle of August we can actually enjoy a nice lunchtime hour out on the patio. So, taking this outside, at least for me, got Jonathan Condor. He's in the studio, manning the KOCO weather. What's happening in the weather studio, at least for the next couple hours. Brad, your shift is over, so you're kind of at home. Shelby has something to do. I'm sure it's probably weather or wedding related, huh?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Shelby was busy, so she's got something going on, and this is a good time of the year, or at least a good day to go get something done because you actually can sit outside.
Okay.
And enjoy this. By the way, we're live on Facebook here too. Folks, we've got 18 people that chimed in on Facebook. If you guys have anything you want to ask us, we're all ears. We can answer away right now.
So this whole Facebook thing is actually pretty new. Let's talk about it for a second because, Twitter has Periscope, and there was Meerkat that came out that Jonathan was a really big fan of. And then Facebook started getting the streaming video service. I'm not verified on Facebook, and so I believe, and someone can chime in and correct me if I'm wrong, but in order to stream video and do this whole live Facebook broadcast, you have to be verified. Is that correct?
Yes, you do. Actually, my video is sideways, so thanks, folks, for letting me know that. That's kind of awkward. What I'll do is I guess I'll just pull it here. Tell you what, let me take my iPad out of the case. So
now, let me ask this real quick. How about this? Jonathan, I don't know if you know the answer to this or not. Yes. But does Facebook kind of monitor these Facebook live streams the way they do with all the other feeds, in that they're not going to pop up on everyone's stream, their Facebook feed all at once? Is this going to be one of those things where basically it's like you could be watching a video, but it's not really live because it might actually be from earlier in the day and it's just not popping up in your feed? Have you read anything about that, or Brad?
Well, I'm sorry. I was trying to get this thing worked out. It's kind of awkward here. Here's my little video down at the below, so you can only I have a little box here. You can see Jonathan and Damon. But what this Facebook mentions is doing this new thing to keep up with Periscope, where you can be live with video if you have a verified account. So right now they're only opening up to people with verified accounts, and that's for news people, for just people that they verify. Because right now I guess they're trying to monitor content. And
so you're not going to get like here's my Uncle Bob walking down to the mailbox to get the mail type video, huh? It's basically it's just going to be for like news personalities. I wish I was verified. I'm not verified. Jonathan, are you verified on Facebook yet?
Not yet. I submitted it right away, and they said, keep on trucking, we'll get back to you.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll get there eventually. But hey, 80 degrees right now, which, by the way, I guess we gotta send out congratulations where it's necessary. Jonathan was the closest to hit the 100-degree high temperature, the first one in Oklahoma City. If you didn't chime in over the last couple weeks, we were actually kind of doing a little bit of a mini competition across the KOCO5 Weather Team. Who was going to be the closest to guessing the date in which we would have our first 100-degree high? But we did it kind of like Price is Right. You couldn't go over. So I had August 1st. I missed that one. Jonathan, what was the date?
I wrote them down. Brad, you're July 21st.
Yeah, 21st. You said August 9. Yeah. Damon was sometime mid-August, right?
August 1st.
Okay. Shelby was way late August. So yeah, Jonathan, you were all over that. We've got to give you credit. You were saying what? You thought everything was about a month behind?
Yeah, just pattern recognition. I mean, look at the tornado season was behind. Everything was running behind, and I noticed that in the winter actually. Everything was running a little bit late. Our heavy rains were running late. It's just everything was about a month behind. So that was kind of my, and then looking at some long range Euro stuff, but
So then here, so how about this? And Jonathan, we talked about this, and Brad, we can kind of get your input on this. You know, we've been talking a lot about El Nino, and if you look at the sea surface temperature anomalies out in the Pacific Ocean and the what we could consider the Nino region, they're getting pretty warm. I don't think I've ever seen 2.5 to 3 degrees Celsius above average numbers. So we're talking about, you know, a couple degrees Fahrenheit here, but they are really, really warm. So would that mean then that with this strong El Nino developing, we know we're going to have an El Nino winter, but we're going to have a pretty big shift in our weather pattern, because if we go off of this, we are 1 month behind. That means that what we're going to feel in September is what we should be feeling in August, and so on and so forth. But Brad, do you think it's going to be a pretty big change in our weather in the next couple months as we transition, or do you think it's going to be gradual?
Well, you know, this, of course, the heat just kind of all of upon us here. We lowered our dew point just enough to get up above 100 for 3 days. You know, starting to see some of those cold fronts nudge their way into the northeast and the northern tier, and I think it's only a matter of time before we get a couple of those and we end up with just that short summer. Fall's going to be cool. I mean, the 90-day outlooks are looking cooler than average. We're going to be wet, so I think summer's here for now. In fact, today's awesome, but here in just a few days, I think we're done.
Yeah. You know, it's possible. I wish I could do a screen share. I'm not really too familiar with how this computer operates, since I don't have all my favorites, my tab settings set up. But as I look down here, right now it is 67 degrees south of Sealing near Tologa. 67 in mid-August. That's unbelievable. Here in Oklahoma City, 81 degrees. You know, cold fronts really have a hard time coming in across Oklahoma during the summer season. We kind of start to watch them retreat back up to the north, and then you'll start seeing northern Oklahoma get a front coming in, and then, you know, about a week or two later, you'll start seeing those fronts that may have stopped in northern Oklahoma make their way into central Oklahoma, then eventually southern Oklahoma. But we will likely have to see a pretty big weather pattern shift, and we know it can happen pretty quickly out here in Oklahoma. But for those that are not too familiar with El Nino, because we really don't know a whole lot about El Nino, and if you think about it, El Nino was basically discovered just a couple decades ago, which in the whole realm of weather gathering, you know, technology that we have really isn't that much. But we do know that El Nino is really most pronounced in the late fall, winter, early spring. So what we are dealing with right now is not very El Nino-like. It's basically just kind of just a weather pattern. But just looking at these numbers that are coming in right now, you know, this El Nino looks to be one of the strongest ones that we've seen in a very long time. We don't have a whole lot of information on very strong El Ninos. We have a lot of information on, you know, your weak El Ninos and whatnot, but this is certainly going to be an interesting next couple months that we have to watch pretty closely here in Oklahoma. I think what's likely going to happen, though, is that we are going to see a pattern shift. You know, it's going to happen, and it may happen gradual, or it may happen a little bit more quickly, but I still think that summer's not over yet, you know, at least for the next couple of weeks or so. I think we're probably still going to have at least your 90-degree highs, 95-degree highs. I don't know. Do you think we can throw another 100 in there, or do you think that the 3-day stretch of 100-degree heat was all we're going to see?
It always surprises us, doesn't it? You know, the August 25th or September 1st, 100 degrees. Deidre wants to know what you guys think about what winter will be like. We're getting a lot of people here on Facebook. 80 folks are chiming in, a bunch of questions coming in.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on winter?
Well, you know, if we just go off of climatology with El Nino, cool and wet. Now, cool and wet does not always mean cool and snowy. I want to make sure that we are kind of putting that out there. You know, we can get those 38-degree rain events, but I definitely think it will be cool. I definitely think it will be a much wetter winter than normal. However, we also have to remember that there may be a dry month that falls in there. You know, we could see December really wet, and then January not as wet, and then February get a little wetter, and so weather patterns don't exactly know when the first of the month is and when the last of the month is. So basically, it's just this rolling wave where you might get hit with a week or two of really cold air, and then it might dry out for a little bit and warm up. But I think when you average at least the 3 months that we have of winter, it will likely be cooler than wetter. What do y'all think? Do you think that's a safe forecast, or do y'all want to offer differing thoughts?
Go for it, JC.
We don't know enough about El Nino. Light El Ninos, moderate El Ninos, and strong El Ninos all produce diverse winter forecasts and winter conditions for Oklahoma, number one. And I don't think we know enough or have had enough of these. It's a super El Nino that's coming. Do we have enough of a sample set to say, yes, we know, okay, here comes a super El Nino, what's gonna come out of it? And here's my problem is that I think the wild card is something that we can't see. And so we're talking, teleconnections, what's going on in the long wave, planetary stuff, but what's going to happen with the Northern Atlantic oscillation and the Arctic oscillation? Those are your wild cards. And so let's say Damon's spot on. Hey, it's going to be, cooler than average, but mainly wetter than average. Well, how does that wetness come? Does it come as rain, ice, or snow? That's the unknown. Tell me what, the majority of the Northern Atlantic and the Arctic oscillations are going to do during that period. Are they positive or negative? And that we cannot determine. So tell me we'll know when the wild card is thrown in there what we're going to have. But long range forecasting is very, very hard. And even when you think you have, everything's on your side, you know what you're talking about, you can get burned. That's not my expertise. I'll be blatantly honest.
I'll be anxious.
No problem.
I'll be anxious and excited to see. The Farmer's Almanac is supposed to be released in a couple. They're advertising in a couple weeks or so. I like to see what happens. One thing that I will say when it comes to doing at least long range forecasting is that it's all a matter of perception. If you let's look at the tornado season of 2013. If you look at tornado season across the United States in 2013, if you were to talk to the U.S., they would say, oh, it was below average. We didn't get as many tornado reports. But if you were to talk to Oklahomans, they would tell you, oh, it was one of the worst ones that we've had. We had the Moore, the El Reno tornado. We had all sorts of things going on. We had the Kearney and the Bethel Acres and Shawnee tornado. So you're trying to forecast globally, but we are here trying to forecast locally. So it's tough. It certainly is tough. I don't know, Brad. What do you think on that one?
Yeah, so much of what we do, we stick with Oklahoma, and you can have teams of meteorologists forecasting all over the place, and the picture's so huge. There are so many variables. It is complex. Jonathan was saying earlier that just knowing looking at El Nino, that's just one factor. We have so many different to play with. Trying to give an accurate forecast. Like we were saying a few days ago, people will call and ask for a forecast for their wedding December 1st. We'll give you a forecast, whether it's accurate or not. It's going to be colder this winter. The days are going to be shorter. It's going to frost. The growing season is going to be, there are known truths, but how much snow will we see? I have no idea. Wow. And anybody that tells you they know how much snow we'll see, I'd be very careful with getting that forecast from them, because you can make up whatever you want, but actual what's going to happen is a very different story.
Winter forecasting, and we can talk a lot more about this. You want to really have your ego challenged. Try to forecast winter weather in Oklahoma, because it always seems that we are right on that dividing line. That 32-degree line will cut the viewing area in half. It will cut the state in half. And we are trying to forecast, a couple miles, days in advance. And so winter forecasting is hard. Severe weather forecasting, we got the best in the world out here, but we're still trying to work on the winter forecasting a little bit here. But I think especially we can talk about Oklahoma, we can talk about California. I think if there's anyone in the entire world right now that's excited for El Nino, it would probably be California, and with the ongoing drought, because traditionally what we see is a more active southern tier of the jet stream, so storms begin to roll more so across California, especially Southern California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma. That area becomes a little bit more of an active jet stream right there, and the pattern becomes a little bit more amplified, so we see a little bit more storms coming in. The northern tier of the United States, not as much. However, when you're looking at El Nino and you're looking at what's happening across, say, Montana and North and South Dakota, if they average 20 degrees for a high temperature, it might be 25. So it's still pretty cold up there. So we'll have to see. That's definitely going to be an interesting one to watch, but definitely, it gives us something to really start focusing our attention on, because again, if you look at the sea surface temperature anomalies that are coming in across the Pacific Ocean, there's no question about it. I mean, this is going to be an El Nino year. We thought last winter was going to be an El Nino. We were kind of a little iffy on it because it wasn't set in stone, and all the happenings that needed to happen in the Pacific Ocean weren't quite there yet. But this is definitely rolling in the next couple months. Brad, what other questions do we have coming in?
Well, I'm trying to get back to. I'm manning 3 different devices all simultaneously. Okay, have we updated
Windows? Brad,
Robert, no, I haven't tried Windows 10 yet. Actually, I tried the pre-version of Windows 10. Yolanda says this is cool. KOCO producers are the best. Okay, that was one of our producers. What do you think our winter will? We asked that. When is the horrible heat going to be over? Well, today we kind of got a break from it.
Yeah.
Any rain today or tomorrow? Tara wants to know.
Do you know where Tara lives?
Tara, where do you live? We'll find out. I do notice too that the delay on this is longer than Periscope.
Okay, we got a couple storms out there. Here's what I will say. We've got rain on the radar. It's kind of coming in. So today looks like the best chance of rain that we're gonna have all week. I don't even know if you can see the radar or not, but this is probably the best chance of rain that we're gonna have all week. I'm not really seeing that good of rain chances. Actually, I was looking at the official 8 to 14 day outlook that takes us up towards about August 19th to August 24th. And across Oklahoma alone, it had a big fat bullseye of not just below normal rain chances, but well below normal rain chances. So I would say at least for the next 3 weeks, our rain chances really aren't looking all that great. August is not really known for being a very wet month for us. It's a little bit wetter than July, but yeah, I think we still have a ways to go. I'll put this in. I'll never forget September 22nd of 2012. It was my wedding day, and it was 104 degrees. So, we can see that heat all the way to the end of September.
Let's see here. Did you guys always want to be meteorologists growing up? So this is a question from Jesse. I think I was in 4th grade when I knew, and for me, I was initially embarrassed because I thought everybody hated the meteorologists because they always made fun of them. And so you think of a 9 or 10-year-old, they're a little bit self-conscious, and you don't want to. You want people to like you, and so I didn't want to tell anybody. I didn't tell anybody until I was about 8th or 9th grade that that's what I want to do. So I figured out a way. So it's in my blood. It's been part of my life for a long time.
Jonathan, what about you?
No, I'm not that. Didn't grow. I mean, I was always fascinated with weather as a kid, but no, I didn't figure that out till I was 1 year into college. I was going to be an Air Force pilot. Hooah! Go Air Force. I took a class in accounting. I was working on my aviation degree, and I hated accounting. I'm great at math. Man, I love math.
Oh man,
Accounting just
rub
didn't
it
positive debits and negative credits and the two columns, and the guy who was teaching it had tenure. He didn't care, and I just didn't get it. So I took a class with a guy named Cecil Keene, his name was Graham Gaylor on the Today Show, and I'm like, man, and he's British. I'm like, man, I love your. Can I get a degree in meteorology? He goes, nah, I can't give you that. You got to go to a different university. So I transferred to universities and was working on a degree in meteorology because it would make me a better pilot. And then did an internship at a TV station. The rest is history.
What TV station did you intern at?
Fox in Minneapolis.
Minneapolis.
With Sam Scammon, who I think was one of the best meteorologists at telling the weather story. He was phenomenal. He was so good.
The Minneapolis had a lot of good ones. Paul Douglas, he was a good one.
Ken Barlow.
A lot of good ones out there.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, I liked weather. A lot of times you'll come across a meteorologist and they'll say, oh, there was this particular event that really got me excited in the weather, and so I wanted to learn more about weather. That never happened to me. I think it's just always kind of been in me. I liked weather. I didn't know if broadcast meteorology was what I wanted to do. I thought I was actually going to go into aviation meteorology. I think Brad can probably chime in. Brad, how many classes did we have together at UNCA, which I was always putting pictures of airplanes on my desk?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You were sitting there at your desk in our weather lab, and before class started, everybody else was finishing up their homework and making sure that they had everything ready to go for the quiz or cramming that quiz information. Damon was oohing and awing and gushing over plane pictures. He was like, man, look at this new Airbus 7 whatever. Everyone's also like, okay, Damon, that's great, but I think a few people tried to chime in and show their excitement, but none other Damon is more excited about aviation.
Oh man, I definitely thought I was gonna go into aviation. And I said, well, you know what? I'm young. I'm gonna try this whole TV thing, and if it doesn't work out, I'm young. I can always do a career change a little bit later.
Well, so one day it'll work out for you.
Yeah, I guess it's still working out for me.
Maybe one day you get a decent TV job, and no,
I actually
been in television. People now, what, 11 years? Is that right?
Yeah. No, it's a decade. It's been 10.5 years.
Okay.
10.5 years now.
So yeah, I mean, you've done great for yourself.
Well, and certainly we all are, especially being Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City, it doesn't get any bigger when it comes to weather and severe weather markets in the entire world. It's just this is the pinnacle of weather, especially weather markets. And when television work, not everyone knows exactly how do you get a TV job. How do you start your career in television? You have to be willing to want to relocate. I moved out to West Texas and took my first job.
My dog is wanting it so bad, like.
Well, let the dog in. All the weather is pretty nice. I don't know. My dog, I'm looking over right here. He sounds
okay. So you're saying, how do you get into TV?
Yeah, but we all really had to kind of relocate. I took my first job out in Abilene, Texas. It was a 2,000-mile drive, almost, I think. No, it was about 1,500-mile drive from North Carolina to West Texas, and I didn't know anything about West Texas. I mean, they didn't plant their trees as early as we did on the East Coast. I know that. I remember one time, I think it was one of my first days on air. I was talking about it raining. It was in late April, and I said, "Oh, it's gonna be a horrible day. It's supposed to rain today." And people said, "No, Damon, I don't think you understand. It rain's a good thing out here." So it was definitely a pretty big change for me. But I moved pretty far. Brad, you went even farther.
Yeah, my first job, I think there was an opportunity in Georgia or Western Colorado. And, when you're younger, when you're in your early 20s, I wanted to get outside. I wanted to go to a great place and just enjoy the outdoors and forecast weather. So I went to Western Colorado to Grand Junction. If that's a place you haven't been, what a great vacation to go to. It looks kind of like Utah. It's dry. There's not a lot of weather, but my goodness, what a place to play. Mountain biking, hiking, the Colorado River. I used to ride my bike down the Colorado River Trail that butted up next to my house. Colorado River ran right past my house. I would ride my bike down the Colorado River Trail and come into work. Riding back at 10 and 11 o'clock at night after my shift was a little freaky, but interesting people hang out along the river at night. But it saved, the main reason why I was doing it to save gas money, because you don't make any money your first job.
No, you do not.
It's a paid internship is the way to look at it.
No, you're right. There is no money. Well, I shouldn't say no money. There's very little money in television. So if anyone ever wants to, if anyone is graduating college and is racking up student debt and wants to get their first job in television, it's gonna be pretty tough. It's gonna be pretty tough. Jonathan, where did you you started in Iowa? How far away was that from university?
Well, so I went to St. Cloud State University, which is an hour northwest of Minneapolis on I-94. My hometown is Stillwater, which is on the border of Minnesota, Wisconsin, which is east of Minneapolis, St. Paul, closer to St. Paul, obviously. Mason City, Iowa, MCW, which is off of I-35, which is Mason City is not on I-35. The actual town is Clear Lake, and that's actually where Buddy Holly crashed, if you remember. Richie Valens and the Big Bopper and Buddy Holly crashed.
The day that music died.
The
day that music died. That's what.
That's it. Yep, and they would actually have a annual party. It was like a sock hop at the surf. Was it the surf ballroom? I think it was the surf ballroom, and that was my first live shot ever. I dressed up as Buddy Holly.
Please tell me there's video of this online. Is it anywhere?
I don't think so. I don't think, no, I doubt it. And
we
anyways,
might have to call KIMT and find the archives.
Doubt they have it in their archives. Sorry. But anyways, it was about 2 hours from up and down I-35 from my hometown to my first job. So I spent a lot of my days off home, actually in the summers water skiing with my family, or in the winter snowmobiling. So only 2 hours away.
That's not bad. That's not bad. Yeah, television's tough. Television is very, very challenging. And I have seen many meteorologists come in and out of this business, and especially come into Oklahoma City and say, this is not what I signed up for. So you have to be dedicated. You have to be passionate about working in this market. And all of us are. I mean, even as you can see here, it's noon 30 on Wednesday. And we're just here chatting about weather. We talk about weather all day long, and we want to talk about it some more. Anything you all want to add before
I
we
was say, too, I think a lot of people, if you're going to ever decide to get into television weather, you have to kind of think about the future, because your pay can go up, but there are a lot of people that leave weather to make that quick jump up, because you're going to make more money quicker than you will than just by sticking around in it for a while. So you do it for the love of it. You do it because it's what you want to do, not because you're going to make money.
Yeah, I hate moving. I don't like moving at all. I've had a couple friends of mine in the business that will go from one market to a slightly higher market to a slightly higher market to a slightly higher market, and they'll do it in like a 2-year increment rather than just staying in one market for 4 or 5 years and then making a big jump. But yeah, and I don't know. I just don't like moving. Anyone like moving? Anyone want to show of hands?
I like getting rid of the stuff. You know?
You have a big garage sale. Do you have a garage sale when you move?
Oh, my iPad just died. Well, an abrupt end. We donate a lot of it. I just find it easier. Just take it to the Goodwill and drop it off.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
I just say because I don't like having to set up a garage sale and then write stickers, and then someone wants to bargain with you about buying a $1 DVD and they want to give you 50 cents, which
well, I'll tell you too, donating is good. People need it, but you're also trying to make a little bit of money off the things that you sell.
Mm-hmm.
you surprisingly can deduct a lot of things on your taxes that you donate, and sometimes it turns out to be about what you would sell it for the amount of money that you save on the tax. So sometimes that can just be easier.
Yeah, sometimes donating can go your way. Jonathan, how's the new house? How's the grass growing? Is it doing better?
Good.
Yeah. Y'all want to add anything to this before we hang it up for the day?
Perseid meteor showers tonight if we can get the clouds to clear on out. I looked 2 nights ago. In 10 minutes, I saw 3, 2 faint, 1 bright. One was an earth grazer. Wasn't out of the northeast. It was out of the northwest, and it was it was awesome. Looked last night, and we were mostly cloudy, and I'm worried tonight that we're gonna have more high clouds.
Yeah. I left work last night about 12:30, and I was looking, but obviously I was going south and wasn't going to see much, and so. But people really love their meteor showers. You know, Jonathan, you'll do a write up online, and it's usually a pretty good story for the day. You know, usually gets shared a couple hundred times. So people love it.
This is the best one. The Geminids can be a little cold in December. And so this is the best one of the year, and mainly because we have a new moon. A lot of times you get, light pollution from the moon. You can't see it very well, so this is supposed to be the best one. And rates of 60 to 100 an hour, pending a clear sky. I mean, that's about one a minute. That's pretty good. And I've done a couple blog write-ups on it. Actually, my first blog write-up was 3 weeks ago, so it's. Yeah, it should hopefully we clear out tonight. It'll be a bummer. And wouldn't it be our luck that it's cloudy?
I know, right? It's been clear all the other nights, and then the one night we needed to not be cloudy. We needed it becomes cloudy. All right, well, I'm gonna get ready for work because my work day is just now beginning. Brad, I'll see you on TV in the morning. Jonathan, see you in a bit.
Yep.
Take care, you guys.
Adios.